Breathe air into your movement. Welcome to the On Air podcast.
So welcome to this episode of the On Air podcast. For this one, I'm going to be talking about my why, which is slightly harder for me to do because it's so close to my heart. So for that reason, I've invited my good friend Rumbi to join me for this one and to ask me questions in an interview-like situation. So we'll have some giggles along the way, I'm sure, as we always do. To give you a little introduction, Rumbi actually created our hammock meditation course. She comes from a metaphysical background. She's an incredible soul, very humble. And so if you go and do that course, it's her that scripted all the beautiful chilled out meditations, and she just brings that energy with her everywhere she goes and definitely creates calm and grounding for me. So introducing my epic friend, Rumbi.
Hi, everyone. So before we start and get into it, because it's quite in-depth, I just wanted to know, what does doing aerial Pilates with the hammock bring for you right now in this moment?
Right now in this moment, this is a good question. Right now, today, May 2023, what does it bring me? It brings me calm. It brings me a sense of support. It gives me a calm place to go to move my body and feel supported, held, challenged, where I can be expressive but soft. And that's a big one for me, because I have done obviously dance work and expression work, but I think that feeling of being strong yet soft is a nice feeling, fluid, yeah, I just can't get enough. I can't get enough of the hammock these days. It brings me a lot of peace and chilled outness.
Nice. It's your life.
Yes. That sounds totally sad. It's my life. It's me. My hammock is me. My hammock is me. I think that's what I say to people. It is a second skin. It's you. It's you, but it's the good version of you.
Yeah.
It brings out the best.
Yeah. So where did this all begin? Where did this journey begin for you?
The journey of AerialPilates. Wow. Okay, so this began, I guess I was always active and expressive and moving when I was younger, and I went naturally into fitness, and I was inspired by that. So I went straight into the fitness diploma. And so when I was like 18, 19, I remember actually my one of my lecturers saying to me, "Debbie, you would really like Pilates." And at the time I was a cheerleader for the Claymores, and I was doing my the Scottish Claymores, the fitness work, and I was, just bouncing around, loads of high energy, and I was thinking, nah, that's boring. I don't want to do Pilates. I'm not interested. Even though I didn't know anything about it, this was in 1998. And then I ended up going out to Australia. I just really wanted to travel, and I went traveling. I went out to Australia, and I ended up being there for 5 years. But when I was out there, I worked in the health club, and I was in pain. I was in agony. So whilst I looked like super fit and active and was, I was just I was in pain. And I just remember one day I had a shift. It was an early shift, so I was in at like 6 a.m, and I was switching on the treadmills, and I was like bending forwards. I was only 23 at the time. I was bending forwards, and I was just like, like hobbling over like an old person with a sore back. And I just tried loads of things. I went to physio and osteopath, and just things didn't fix it. And then I was speaking to another personal trainer on the gym floor, and I remember she was just like, "Oh, just do." It was Nat Black. I always say full name, Nat Black. She said to me, "Just do Pilates." So I went along to a class and I just thought it was really boring. I really didn't enjoy my first class. I know you always find that funny. And then again, I did mat work, and like my concentration, I just found it hard, but there was something in it. And then I ended up doing one-to-ones with a beautiful instructor there in Australia. Her name was Debbie, actually. And I did loads, and it made me pain-free. And it was the only thing that really it just settled me. If you've ever been in pain or uncomfortable in your skin, you're this pain and just alignment and work, it did everything. It calmed me. She taught me, I remember just teaching me breathing. Like it wasn't all fancy exercises, it was just breathing. And I remember being like, wow, I was like so grateful that she taught me to breathe on the first session. And and then obviously we went into more in-depth exercises and all the apparatus as well. But yeah, so
sorry to interrupt you, Debbie, but was your mind blown about the fact that you were pain-free from doing Pilates?
Yeah, like I have, I remember certain moments now, like really clearly. Like I remember getting back in my car, after I'd done a session with her, and thinking, oh, it was like a sudden calm and peace and space and realization of like, oh, I don't feel pain. And so if I don't have pain now, I have space, like mental space, and I feel like happier in myself. Like it was huge. And and it was like my time, it was like my space away, and it was like, she was just beautiful. She was a really lovely person, and I felt nurtured, and she looked after me, and I just loved it. It's really great.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. And I think in that, it then started to empower me, and then I felt more empowered. And then I remember a strong moment again on the gym floor. I was in the health club at the time, and I actually remember there being some kind of aerial work that I'd seen, and that was it. It was just a glimmer. And I remember having a strong feeling of like, I want to do more artistry. I want to be, I just remember thinking the word artist. And I'm like rubbish at drawing and, painting or anything, that kind of style of artistry. And then my visa was running out, sadly, because I didn't want to leave Australia. But I just went with it. So I went via Thailand, and I did a Reiki course there, and I did Thai massage course there, and just, felt really great traveling around on my own. I felt, strong, independent woman, and then came back to the UK, and I was back in Edinburgh, and I started doing fitness again, and then kept doing the Pilates. When I came back, I did further courses. And I met Chris Blagden. Actually, yeah, no, I did. I met him. Yeah, I went. So he originally, Edinburgh Pilates Centre was in George Street in Edinburgh, and there was very few Pilates studios. First of all, but that was the first studio that was outside of London. And it was very, George Street was like a prime spot in the city. And I actually went, I remember it was like a rabbit warren, like finding my way around. And it actually wasn't him, it was a woman that was there at the time. So I know he took it over from Jane Paris. And I went there, and then I think I didn't start going to regular sessions when he was actually in a different place down the road. And I started my dance course, so I felt liberated to go and do this audition, and I did a dance artist course. And then so I was doing dance artist, and then that's when I got into aerial. I actually got into aerial in 2008. So after I did a year dance course, and then I decided I was more in the air, and I was awful, and I was really weak. And I just was like, oh, this is really like it's almost like I felt like it showed up that I was so weak, like it was like this challenge then, and I felt mentally weak and physically weak. So I think I saw it as like, this is my mission, this is like my thing. So I kept teaching Pilates classes in Edinburgh, and building up and regular clientele and consistent work and things. And then I did the aerial as like, my thing for me, and building up the strength alongside it as well. So yeah, I just chipped away at the Pilates, and then I did the aerial. And as I got more and more into the aerial, I felt that I got stronger. So I was doing more and more and more. And then the more you train, like the stronger movements you do, the more extreme it is. And then you train more often because you build up your stamina and strength. And then I guess I was just seeing even more dramatic difference between, like, how do I keep my aerial training up that is really strong? How do I guess I was then struggling to be like, wait a minute, how do I keep this Pilates that balance me, aligns me, and makes me feel great and improves my well-being, and keep the aerial? And it was I felt like it was more like a jump from one to the other, as opposed to like a blend. I would be in different, yeah. And it was fine, I just went, it's fine, everything's fine. Yeah, I went between the two. And then again, I think I had that feeling of like, oh, this is going to a physio again, an osteopath. And it's just, I obviously pushed myself, which I liked, and it was amazing. Like, I progressed, and I, trained really hard for years and with some incredible people. But then I went and used the aerial hammock, and I did it with the aerial yoga. And I was like, oh, I need the Pilates side. It's the Pilates side that is that is the drug, essentially. Like, it's the well-being, the alignment, the strength, the breath, like, just everything that Pilates had been to me, everything that it kind of stood for in my heart. I was gonna say my eye, but my heart, my center, my being. And not to grandiose it, but yeah, I think if you've done Pilates, then you realize the significance of its benefits, really. And so then I started exploring the hammock with that in mind, and I tried to look for courses, and I couldn't find any. And then people kept encouraging me, like, you go, do it. And I started a class in Edinburgh. I did a one-off, and I invited physios and Pilates teachers. And I think I felt nervous because I felt like people might shoo me, put me down, or think it was gimmicky or something like that. But essentially, I was being drawn to it because I was doing these two things and wanting it for me. And so I invited people to come, and all I got was like slow encouragement, like people were encouraging me, but I definitely was digging my heels in. But there was few defining moments along the way, and I think one of them, I just mentioned this the other day, actually, one of them along the way was that I found out that somebody would be allowed to create a course that was aerial Pilates, but not be a Pilates teacher, not be an aerialist. And I think it made me like, oh my God, oh no, I have to do it. And it was the feeling of being drawn, and like, I have to do this. That,
and you encouraged to follow it through.
Yeah, I did dig my heels in to begin with, which is really funny. And because I've had to let go a lot. I really have, like, because of fears. I think it's fears, maybe it's fears of industry and other people's comments, really. And the more I'm in it, the more I'm like, I don't care, because the more I'm doing it, the more I realize the power of it and what it brings, and then to other people, and its strength and the knowledge and the everything. But that was 10 years ago. So that was in 2013. I started teaching. That was the first class, 2013. Wow. In Edinburgh.
And
so 10 years ago. What was that?
I said, look how far it's come.
I know, 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years from the first class teaching to now.
Wow.
I know sometimes it feels like it's a slow journey because I'm in it, but then I think that's the power of reflection, isn't it? If you look and go, it's only been 10 years. Well, 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to know your why.
No, yeah. My why.
Your why.
Do you know what? If I'm really honest, my why was for me, because it brought me peace and calm and ease in my body while still being in the air and having this, expressive side. But I think my why now is just become richer and richer as it goes, because when it first started, I just used what we now call the high hammock, which is at hip height, and that's where it started. And then the syllabus has obviously hugely grown over 10 years. And all it does is it makes me go, wow, there's this, and there's a lower level hammock, and there's a lower level hammock. And, there's like, it's just, I think it's not till then you share it with others that then you then realize even more and more, like it just keeps growing. And my why has now become then you need to share this with others, like, and that whether it be someone that's never done aerial, and to empower them, make them feel like this acrobat, inner acrobat, come out and be expressive, and they feel amazing and great, whether it's a client or whether it's a teacher. And also then to give aerialists or aerial it's like the missing jigsaw puzzle piece is the Pilates side. So I mean, it really wholly has gone from my being, and then the desire to share that, whether client, teacher, or any aerialist or background, and that's I mean, you can't buy that. Do you know what I mean? Like the sharing, and then seeing, because I know what it brings, because I've lived it. So then when you see that relief or that joy or that excitement, or that, whatever it is they feel, I instantly have a
connection.
Yeah.
And I think what's great about the way you do things is that there's a common misconception that Pilates is posh, and the way that you do it and teach it is so inclusive. And
well, we have a running joke, don't we? Because we go Pilates, like Pilates. And I think especially like some aerial teachers, they then have this feeling of like, oh, well, I'm not Pilates, and I think Pilates brings your body home. It brings you peace, it brings you well-being. Like, I just and I think when you start to teach it and give people that knowledge and that empowerment and power, it's theirs. It's not, it shouldn't be a thing that's really expensive that we have to go to. And I get it. I've got deep respect, like Chris Blagden, like I'd never be ready in his eye. Like, you always keep learning, and it wasn't a course I did with him. It was, it's been like 15 years and of mentoring, and he doesn't run courses anyway, but his knowledge is just incredible. And so I understand that there's a respect of like, and that's how I try and teach my teachers, like the journey is a journey, and it just, there's no, you do a course, tick, and now I know Pilates, like, it's a careful balance, because it's been respectful of the industry, but at the same time, the power and the peace of what it brings to others, I just think that that should be attainable for everyone.
And I think, because I know you so well, I know that the power of your why is so huge, and especially with your dad, Papa Robbins, being the same like that's brought quite a lot to you. How is you with your why?
Christopher Robbins, my dad. So so my dad is he always taught us to be adventurous when we were younger, and hill walking and climbing and abseiling, and he really encouraged us to be brave. But he is a health and safety guy, so he worked for the HSE, and he always came at it from a perspective, I'm going to keep you safe, like, and he would reassure us, and he would give us knowledge, and he would, we would do abseiling, we'd have a safety rope and his rope, and he would explain things. And so I think maybe I'm just naturally like that from him, that I'm like, and my dad is, known in the safety industry as well, of helping make things happen. So it's like, how can you, make, be adventurous, like explore, like, the aerial, it's extreme, it's like you're in the air doing things. How can you do that, but then still be safe, especially if I think you're asking people to be brave and let go or do these things. I think that has to come hand in hand with then really truly like looking after their safety, which then and feeling safe, and it makes you braver then to go for things. And yeah, I think I just like, so when I started doing my teacher training, so I started teaching in 2013, and then we did the teacher training in 2016, the very first one. And after being like, from being an aerialist and then with my dad doing health and safety, then I was like, well, if we do this, we have to do it with giving them rigging knowledge. And to be totally honest, that has been it slowed the whole process down. It's made it harder work. It's cost more. It's been harder, but I can't not do it because it comes, you know what I mean? I have to do it from that safe perspective, again, because of my dad. And, and my morals, like what feels, my values are definitely values with safety. And so we've slowly grown, but then given the rigging awareness as part of it. And so dad's influence is definitely, actually it's hilarious. Dad's influence is safety and like helping me. It's like I'm constantly always saying, right, this has happened, that's happened, how do I do this? And he just, he's there listening every step of the way. Bless his heart. He's amazing. He's just the most incredible man. He's yeah. And then he goes on Instagram, doesn't he? So I'm busy doing all these like videos and trying to make fancy choreography. And then during COVID, I get my dad, and like for the first time, I can't believe it was during COVID actually. For the first time in the hammock, and he blows up Instagram.
I know. Papa Rob unaware as well.
I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but that's what makes it so juicy, that you're offering people all these amazing things, but at the same time you're supporting them, you're keeping them safe. And I mean, yeah, it's amazing.
That's one of the things. I mean, that really is important. It's more than important. It's the value. It's a key value in the everything about it, like from the teaching to the doing as well.
Yeah. So just to kind of sum up your why, now your why is about others. What do you want to bring to them? What do you want to share with them?
Yeah, well, I guess it's, it really is, oh, it sounds so cheesy, but it really is taking flight. It's me, like, I think a lot of the work I had to do, my own personal development, like whether that be literally like the physicality of it or the believing in it, and then developing it, especially during COVID. It's like, come on leaps and bounds to be, the course is now online, obviously, and every area, like the circus history, the anatomy, everything's come on leaps and bounds. And so it's really, it's such an ease and a joy to share it with other people. And I think it's just letting it go a bit, like, so I really know what my solid foundation is now. I know the values of it, like, so I guess it's having deeper roots. Like, I've got deeper roots now, and I'm literally more grounded, thanks to you, myself. And so I think when you have that feeling, then you can let things take flight. But I mean, that's been that you've been through it all with me, and that does help you take flight. And I think it's just more of that, man. Just letting it grow. I think letting it grow and expand. Now it's ready.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that I know that you're doing so much more than supporting people with Pilates and aerial. There's so much more to it than that. So you take on quite a lot, and you do it in like such a loving way that, you know, people
Mm.
have you supporting them doing this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's been transformational for me and is transformational. So
Mhm.
then all you're really doing is I just keep following that path. And then that's all you have to do, I think. Like, you know, you just get clear on your path and then everything's authentic. And I think when it's authentic, it's easy.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's really exciting to watch everything unfolding for you, and just you coming on leaps and bounds with everything. And I know there's a few exciting things in the works that are not on this podcast, but that you'll be getting excited to share with people. So yeah, I can't wait.
Totally. Me too. Thank you for guiding me through this. Well, thank you for everything, Rimby, but thank you for guiding me through this one. It's funny, I've been procrastinating it for so long because it just felt so huge for me. And then I think when you, like, I knew it'd be nice to say it all out loud because I knew it was a nice journey. But when it's your own, you feel like it's harder to tell, but when you actually say it out, I think it's
you always got this.
Got this, baby.
Got it. And yeah, in addition, thank you for teaching me Pilates. And
we have to do more.
Yeah, I can't wait. Definitely. Yeah.
What's been your experience with Pilates? Because you've come to how many?
Maybe 4 classes.
Four classes. So I've had you in the hammock. So I have got videos of me teaching Rimby in the teacher training, and it was brilliant because it was raw. So it was a real, you know, first person going through it. But if you were to say, how were the first 4 classes, mat work classes? Be honest.
Yeah, honestly, I found it difficult for my mind to get around all the intricate little muscles that you don't know about, but the way that you taught it and explained it, like, it really shifted my way of thinking. And now I don't think Pilates is, you know, boring and it's you know, unattainable. It's doable for anybody. I mean, if I can do it, literally anybody can do it. And I'd actually love to get a chance to do more of it.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah,
we're doing it.
Well,
thank you so much. Thank you.
It was my pleasure.
You'll hear more of Rimby. I'll get her in more podcasts for sure. I want to talk more about the hammock meditation for sure. We're definitely going to have to talk about the scripts and then pathway that we've taken there as well.
Yeah. Well, Deborah Robbins, have an awesome day.
Thank you. Thank you so much.